Chainsaw Man, the movie. What is this? Art? Welcome back, everybody. I just got out of Chainsaw Man, the movie, Reze Arc, or Reze Arc. I'm still not sure how I'm saying that, so my apologies. Tell me in the comments how you're saying it. I want to know. I have a lot of thoughts on this film. This film, I think, is going to live in my brain for the next few weeks while I just roll it around. But I have some initial thoughts, and I wanted to share my review with you, which is what we're going to do here. I'm also going to talk about why I feel this is art as we go through the review. I'll talk about it, especially near the end. I have a point that I want to make about that. But there's a lot of elements for us to unpack, so let's get into it. Before we do, though, I have a question for you, the viewer at home. I want to know, who do you ship Denji with? Who would you pick, Makima or Reze? Let me know down in the comments below. Let's start off with the animation, because, this is MAPPA, and MAPPA, they are known for their animation, and some people love them, and some people do not love them. I am one of the people that I enjoy a lot of the times what they make. And one thing that I love is that it's just so complex what they build. There is so much rigging involved, like every little element of a character they have to set up and manipulate and move. There are a lot of layers to it. So when you think about the fact that the whole second half of this movie is basically one long fight sequence that's just leading one thing into another. It's just non-stop action, and it's big action too. It is really impressive to see what they've pulled off here, and no wonder it took them a while. You know what? Just sometimes we need to let people cook. That's what I'll say. And I know it's been a while coming, and I've been patiently waiting as someone that is a Chainsaw Man fan. If you weren't able to guess, Pachita is here to advocate that I am a big Chainsaw Man fan. So we did have to wait a while, but I think the wait was ultimately worth it, especially if we're talking about the animation side of things and how just the fight is just so massive, and the stakes are through the roof on this fight. Everything feels like at any time anyone could go. Something else that I love about Chainsaw Man is, nothing ever feels safe, and that's what I love about it. It's always taking risks and always pushing the envelope in a way that feels very exciting to watch. We also get a lot of new characters in this arc. It is a continuation, basically, from season 1, and picking right up where we left off, some of the characters we're introduced to we already saw a little bit at the end of season 1, including Angel Devil, who we get to know a lot more in this movie, and who is a character that I cannot wait to see how they develop. They form a pretty close bond with Aki, and their time bonding as friends actually was really moving to me. It was one of the few times in the movie where I cried when Aki goes out of his way to hold on to Angel Devil so that they can't basically let things end. Angel Devil's at a point in their life where they just don't really see much reason to keep going, and they're being forced to work. They don't like to work. They just want to be free of that and just be free of everything, really. And to see how Aki's determination to keep them around, to save them, kind of inspires Angel Devil in this movie. It's just really moving. The thing I love about Chainsaw Man, at least where we're at with it right now, is it's just such a human story in a lot of ways, despite being so supernatural and so wacky. We're also introduced, of course, to Reze, who is a new character entirely. We have not seen her before in the anime, and I do not read the manga, so please don't put any manga spoilers in the comments for me, my manga readers. Love you, but please don't spoil it for me. But she gets her first appearance here, and she ends up being a super important character in this movie. As the title implies, after all, it is called the Reze Arc. I really loved the complexity to her character. There's a lot of layers for her, and we get to explore her as a love interest. We get to explore her as a very powerful character as well. She's just got a lot of depth, and that is something that I just love about Chainsaw Man in general. It's really good at making you care about the characters. And then, of course, I saved the best for last here. My favorite new character is, of course, Beam. And if you don't know Beam, Beam is the shark devil who appears in this movie. I believe also appeared in the trailer. You see Denji riding on Beam as Chainsaw Man. And wow, I love this character. I can't wait to find out more, because my only complaint with Beam is there was not enough Beam in this story for me. I need more Beam. Not enough Beam and not enough Power. Power is sadly missing for the entire story. She's there at the beginning, she comes back at the end. She is nowhere to be found in between that. And I'm a big Power fan, so that was a little sad. But we do have Beam, and Beam is great. This movie is not just about the action, though. The first half of the movie, I would say, or at least the first 40% maybe, is really spent on establishing the romantic life of Denji. Denji is asked out on a date by Makima, and they go out and they watch a series of movies. Most of them are pretty mid until the last film of the night, and they actually bond over the fact that they have very similar opinions and emotional reactions to these films. That being that with the first few, they really didn't have any emotional reactions, even though there were elements of the films that they appreciated. They didn't really feel anything until the last film, and then they both felt things at the same time, which is really, really cute. And I'm a big Denji Makima shipper, so for me it was really cute to see. However, with with Reze coming in, we have another new love interest on the scene. And the thing that I love about her is that she and Denji are really just so similar in who they are as people and in terms of their experiences. She's really more on Denji's level. And so I really do understand the appeal now in the wars that I've seen on the internet between fans of these different ships, and how they will just really go at it with the other and be like, no, my ship is the superior ship. My character is the best girl, So that was really fun to see, and I can see the appeal of both, to be honest with you. At this point in time, I can see why you would go with either of these. Although for me, I think I'm still pro Makima. Reze fans, don't at me, please. Or, do, but let's keep it civil, We don't have to fight. We all love Chainsaw Man here. And this really ties into my thoughts on this film being a piece of art. It all comes back to the ending. So just a fair warning here, I am going to talk about the end of the movie now. So if that is a reason that you don't want to continue, I totally understand. But before you go, I have one thing that I would like to just say. If you are watching this review because you're trying to decide whether or not you should go see this movie, and, maybe you're not familiar with Chainsaw Man and you just wanted to know a little bit about what is the appeal here, I will say that this is a canonical movie. So what that means is it is continuing from season 1, and it is part of the story, the main story. So if you are not familiar with what was happening in season 1, if you haven't seen it, you might be a little lost here. And I would say go watch season 1. Also, season 1 is amazing, so just go watch it because it's great. But if you don't have time to do that, then at least watch a recap video, or if you're going with a friend who has been watching the anime or is reading the manga, get them to fill you in on kind of up to this point what's been going on, because this film does not introduce you to anyone. It just drops you right in, and we pick right back up. It's not like the Spy Family movie where everybody's introduced at the beginning. So you do want to go in with some kind of prior knowledge, I would say. However, let's talk about the ending now, okay? So now that I've said my piece to those of you that are still here, if you need to leave, this would be the moment to do so. Ending. The ending of the movie, I think, is so freaking brilliant and so tragic. I loved it so much. I think what I really enjoy about the ending in this movie is that it is so smartly done. Everything that is built up at the beginning comes back around in the end. The way that Denji ends up defeating the bomb devil, I thought was so smart. Basically using water and using also something that's established earlier in the film, which is when he learns to swim with Reze as the way to resolve that conflict. Basically diffusing the bomb devil by taking her into the water, because obviously bombs don't usually work underwater because of how they're built. But the other thing that I love about this ending is the tragedy of losing Reze and losing this love interest that was really so in sync with Denji. It's that moment where you see her realize that really she is the same as this guy, and she does really like Denji, and she does want to be with him. And it wasn't fake, it was real. a lot of this stuff felt really real. And so to see them coming back together, to see those shots of her heading towards Denji, and also the fact that there are shots at the end with Reze and Denji that basically mirror the scene in the movie that Denji is watching with Makima when they're on their super long movie date that made them both emotional, is like, wow, whoa, all of the callbacks all at once. And honestly, that is why I love Chainsaw Man and why I think it is a piece of art, because there's so many layers to the film. I think this is a film you need to watch multiple times. I think this is a film that you should see in the theaters because you want to be solely focused on it, because there's so many little things. There's quick shots and there's subtle layered references that we call back to, things in the script that are symbolic, imagery that is symbolic. It's really beautiful on so many levels. It's so smart and well put together. It is cerebral in a way that I find very rewarding as someone that just loves film, which Fujimoto also does. I haven't read the manga, but I have heard that the manga is also very cinematic. And that is something that I love about Chainsaw Man. It is cinematic. They literally lifted that cinema off the pages and brought it onto the screen in a way that honors the original source material. And I love that about this movie and just about the series in general. It gives me hope because this is something that, you know, I think people don't like to go to the movies as much anymore. And I always think it's a little bit sad because when we're not at the movies, sometimes the way we consume media, I know myself, I will be distracted when I'm watching something. But when I'm at the movies, I'm like locked in. And this is a film that it's rewarding when you're locked in because there's a lot for you to pick up on. Like there were things that I predicted that were coming that I only was able to really figure out ahead of the time because I was paying attention to all the little subtleties in the storytelling. So overall, I would give this movie, I think, a 4 out of 5. It is pretty darn spectacular. It is not my favorite anime movie that I've ever seen, but it's pretty up there, and I definitely feel like I need to watch it a few more times before I can even fully comprehend how spectacular it is and everything that it's doing. So this rating may change. I may watch it a few more times and think it's a 5. That could happen. I think that it is something that will stay with me and I'll be thinking about it for a while. But such as things are, obviously I try to get these reviews up as soon as possible for you guys. However, this is a film that I do wish I had like a week or two to think about and then come back and then do a review because I'm sure I'd have even more to say about it. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the movie. I want to know before I go as well what your thoughts on the movie are, so please do share those down in the comments below. And let me know, do you like things that are canon when it comes to anime movies, or do you prefer things that are more non-canon so that you can just kind of drop right into them? I personally think I do really love a non-canon movie, but it also depends. I mean, it really depends on how it's done. I definitely think both are great for different reasons, but I want to know what your thoughts are, so let me know. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, friends, as always, stay nerdy. Bye! And if you like when I talk about movies, I do that a lot here. You need to click this now.